Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Football Manager 2020, episode number 7. For this one, we've moved forward a couple games in the timeline, so we'll have a couple quick updates before we get into our match on the road at 4th place Leeds. Now, first off, quick update on the under-18s. Josh Thomas, our highest potential youth player, looked really good in our last game, picking up man of the match, a goal, 8.3 rating, and the under-18s actually doing quite well to start the season with 2 wins and a draw. Now, in our previous 2 games, we pulled off a 1-1 draw at Queen's Park Rangers, a match we should have won, but we were down 1-0 on an unlucky goal. We had squandered a couple chances ourselves, one-on-one with the keeper. Borja unable to finish him off either time. And then, at the other end, an unfortunate ping-pong unlucky situation where all of a sudden the ball deflected a couple times and ended up right at the foot of somebody after the keeper had just gone the other way, making a fairly routine save, but not one that you could hang on to. It had to push out. And then that push away, while it had plenty of power, that's where those deflections came, and then it ended up a simple tap-in. We fought back, got to 1-1, and then unfortunately had a missed penalty by Borja Bastion. And then against Birmingham, we win 2-1 in a game that we completely dominated, and that scoreline does not show how that game was or even should have been. Shot attempts were 24-1 for the entirety of the game. That one, not the goal they got. The one they got was a penalty. A very questionable call. It looked like a perfectly routine, run-of-the-mill, clean slide tackle that got all ball. The player made no sign of there being contact between the two. The penalty was given. So that brought them from the 2-0 to a 2-1 just in the final minutes, so it really had no impact on the game. They didn't threaten after that. But we should have had more than the 2 goals we had. 1, we had 24 attempts and quite a few of them on target. 2, Borja Bastion, another missed penalty. Now, both of them were saves, so we didn't miss the target at least, but one of those 2 in those 2 previous games, right down the middle, and the other one pretty dang close to the middle, and both of them lacking power. So I am strongly considering replacing him as the spot taker. So because that was bad. It was really bad. Bad misses. Okay, one other update before we get into this next game, and let me kind of push us forward a little bit. We're not quite to game time, though it is the day of the game. Declan John, minor injury, coming back from a bruised ankle. Tom Carroll finally passing a fitness test, ready for 45 minutes. He hasn't yet to play in any game, competitive or non-competitive, this season, and this is the first sign of him being ready to go. But we have added one new face to the team, though it is only a fringe player, and that is Remy Street. So Remy Street, 2-star current, 3-star potential. Some of the coaches view him as 2.5 stars on the current ability. You can see, though, he is just simple in the sense that it's all 12, 12, 13. I mean, it's basic defense, but lacking other skills. He's got the mental attributes, more or less. He's got the physical attributes, for sure. So it's a guy that's got an okay pace, which was definitely something I was looking for. So not a top player, but we got him as a free agent for nothing. There was a $700 sign-on fee, and he accepted a small contract and provides some depth at a position we don't have while I continue to look for somebody else. And you can see that despite a small salary. He's got a decent value, 600,000. So we easily could turn around and sell him later on and turn a little bit of a profit. In the development center, that's good progress right there, and he's at 2.5 stars, and that is our current backup center back, but he's just crazy slow. So he's got some skill in the position and is developing, but without pace, I don't see how he can play in this side. With those 2 recent games, we have improved our position. We're up to mid-table. That's progress from where we were. We were certainly just hovering out of the relegation zone. And losing the first 2 games was certainly not a good thing for us, but we're into a decent position now. We'll see if we can do more. We have had a week since our last game, so for the first time, condition actually looks really good throughout the squad. Match fitness also looking really good. Surge now taking over as starter as we've had a major injury to Kalulu. He's out for it's twisted ankle. Okay, not major injury, but it was enough to keep him out for a month, which is now down to 1 to 3 weeks. I have also started tweaking the individual roles for a few guys to hopefully get the most out of them, like Grimes. We turned him into a deep-lying playmaker. Rodon, no-nonsense center back. So just tweaking some roles so we can try to get a little bit more out of each player. And so far, it's looking good. I mean, if that last game was any indication. But this is going to be a tough test. We're on the road at a very good team. Certainly one of the favorites for promotion this year. Leeds really making a push, really ambitious to get back to the Premier League, where they, of course, were so dominant. And gosh, outside of Leicester City and Leeds, right? They're the only 2 teams, I think, the only 2 teams to have won the Premier League since the inception of the league in its current format. So outside of that, the big set of teams, it's been just them. Let's go and say go and cause an upset, huh? Okay, well, one player liked it, but when you give the extra pat on the back, it goes a little bit better, pushes them that little bit further, and we've got some defensive guys fired up. That makes me happy. We don't necessarily need to go score a ton of goals today. We just need to not concede. I'm okay with a point in a match like this. It's raining heavily here. Of course, we are still set to attack, so we'll see. We are in our yellow away kits. Free kick for Leeds, and oof, that looked dangerous. That little extra slide in there on that header. Surprised, let's see. Wow. Yeah, that was dangerous play, but no call, and that deflection puts it into the back of the net, and we trail 1-0 just a few minutes in. Terrible way to start this game, but let's see what we can do with it now. Leeds struggling in possession a little bit, forcing the turnover. And there's the through ball. Surge is off to the races. Oh, I thought he had it, but he missed it to the left. And it hit the back of the net, but the wrong side of the back of the net. Grimes plays it back to the keeper. To Vanderhoorn. Up to Lundstrom. Out wide to Roberts. He's got room to run. He crosses. Ooh, wow. Dangerous header by the center back to the keeper. Not much time for him to react, and off to the races for Leeds. Looking for a second. Good save by Woodburn. Oh, again, the clearance, not enough to get it out of the box. That's been one of our only issues here after those first two games is we've had some clearances that just haven't cleared the area. Long throw from the corner. It's cleared out and leads again off to the races. Ooh, dangerous tackle there. Luckily, he did not commit a penalty on that one. Byers, long ball. Surge, running. Can't get there first, though. Only turn it over. Borja steals it. Surge. His one-time shot goes a little too high. Or much too high. And we've settled into the game now. Still looking a little bit the inferior team, and another injury. Oh, come on. Back-to-back games with key injuries to players that I really don't want it to have injured because we don't have the center back depth. Wilmot is technically at the same level as Rodon, but it's the speed. He doesn't have the speed, and that's where we become vulnerable in this tactic. Speaking of tactic, we have not fully mastered it yet. The player position roles getting closer and closer, but we are now close enough with 95+% on familiarity with the tactic that we are ready to take a look. And so when this game is done, I'm going to be setting up a new tactic, a second tactic. Definitely not doing away with this one. I like this tactic. It is working. But of course, the team's not necessarily built to it. So I'm going to try to find something that suits the team a little bit more as an alternative. Oh, what was that? He went right through the player. He slid through my guy, took his legs out to get to that ball. How is that not a penalty? Look at him. He takes him out. Oh, foul. Not penalty, but foul. How is that not a foul? That is absurd. Jeez, he took my guy's legs out. It's ridiculous that the keeper doesn't dive on that in the first place, but that's a foul anytime, every time. No idea how that doesn't get called. It's time to be aggressive because that was a pathetic half. That was definitely our worst chunk of time in the entirety of the season, really since our first couple of games where they had no clue what they were doing tactically. Vanderhoorn, nice play, and come on, now he's hurt too? I don't even have another backup. We just lost both of our center backs, and the only backup that we had is already on the field. Roberts, can you play center back at all? No. Okay, how about Bidwell? Yeah. Yes, Bidwell can in a pinch, and he's going to have to here. So Bidwell's going to move. Awesome. Awesome. This is so not cool. Our defense just got really weak. Oh, man. We need a little help here, guys. Need a little help. I think 3 points are out of reach for sure. But, Surridge. Clean header. Free header from that close. And he heads it straight at the keeper. I think instead of ripping into the team, my next shout's going to be to try to encourage the team. We'll see kind of response we get out of that, but pressure not recovering the ball at the moment. Leeds a little strong in their possession. I think in terms of budget, Leeds is somewhere around top 2 in the league right now. Not in a Surridge misses a clear chance. Try to encourage. Yeah, 2 guys are fired up. Woo! Love it. Love it. No, don't. Grimes. Misses wildly on that free kick. Longstaff with the interception. Bora, Byers. Surridge again. Surridge just cannot hit the target today. We've only had 2 shots on target. Woodman, good position. Makes an easy save on that one. We're running out of time here. Salvaging a point, looking less and less likely. Naughton. That was a good opportunity for Leeds. Good defensive play. Good save from Woodman there. The defense is crumbling a little bit here, and I'm sure that's down to personnel at the moment, as both center backs are out. And this could be devastating. Luckily, we do have an international break coming. And all we can hope for now is that that break is going to provide us a chance for them to recover. Longstaff and Lundstrom are both playing very poorly and frustrated and nervous. So let's go for Peterson in for whoever's doing worse, which is Lundstrom. And let's tell them to push forward. Ooh, good save from Woodman. That was a great free kick there. That should have been a goal. Oh, please tell me that was a foul. Hardcore takedown. That is offside. There it is. It does get called. Ooh, 4 guys are fired up. That's it. Time's up. Time's up. No more goals. No more goals. I think after the injuries, not conceding any additional goals, it's about all we could hope for. So, poor showing. Not as bad as the beating we were putting on the other teams, though, in 2 out of the last 3 games that we've played. And even the game that drew, we were significantly better. So, I knew this was going to be a tough game. I'm not surprised that we came away with a loss on this one, on the road. The worrying part is not the performance, but the injuries. So I'm going to say I can't fault your effort. They're not happy with that one. Okay. Hand it over to the assistant. Can he turn it around? A few guys anyway. Alright, so how are we looking? 3 to 6 weeks. Let's leave it to the physio. Makes it 3 to 4. Again, 2 weeks of that are going to be this international break, so at least he's only going to miss a game or 2 after that. Rodon pulled calf muscle. No feedback yet on how bad it is for him. We'll get that in a second. Yeah, that pushes them up into first place. 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, good. Good. Both minor injuries, but our next game could be a bit tricky. It could very much be a bit tricky. So, ouch. But at least it's just a little boo-boo. They'll be okay. Kalulu out still as well. So, at least Carroll. Now, last time Carroll resumed training, full training, the next day. 24 hours later, he picked up his next injury. So hopefully... I'm still focusing heavily on scouting right now. That does bump us back down a little bit, that loss. Upcoming schedule, though. How are we looking on who we're getting next? So, Nottingham Forest. Wow, they're in 6th right now. That's a bit high for them, isn't it? Aren't they at the bottom of the championship in real life? Bristol City. Reading. Wow. Okay. Not an easy stretch coming up. Charlton after that, and that's, at least at the moment, form-wise, they're in last place. So that's a road game where we might be able to get something. Nothing but league games coming up for the next little while. And let's move on to the first, but then we're going to start building that tactic so we can start training it over the next couple weeks and start getting players familiar with it. Difficult start to the season. Injury is definitely not helping, but it's part of the game. '23's not bad. Alright, so September calendar. Here's that international break. And then mostly 1 game per week. We don't pick up a midweek game until that Charlton match. So Matty Longstaff, 3rd on the Young Player of the Month. Nice. Okay, good. Starting off well. And that's somebody we brought in since the start of this series. And championship goal of the month, Bastion, on that list, 2nd. Versus Birmingham. I didn't think that goal was that great, but okay, sure. Let's move on to tactics. We are going to add in a second one. Now, we've already done the gegenpress, so we're going to start with something fresh. We have controlled possession or a new one here. Let's see. Looks to nullify the opposition, what? Highly structured defensive. I don't know this one. I'm curious to see what it looks like. Oh, it's a 3-5-2. Well, 5-3-2 with the wingbacks anyway. Defensive focus style that primarily looks to deny the opposition goal scoring opportunities. Libero is traditionally deployed to offer cover behind the defensive line, but it's defensive. I do not want... late in games kind of a thing, to play that a little bit when you have a lead. Might not be a bad thing, but... Okay, we've got the controlled possession. The 4-2-3-1. This is actually one that I do like to use through the lower leagues. This is pretty close to what I was running. The old 4-5-1 that today is pretty much the 4-3-3. Just with the 2 wings. So I'm looking at the wrong one. Hold on. Let me see here. Oh, there's the 5. I'm looking at the wrong dots. Okay, 5, 3, 2. But I don't have 3 center backs to... I don't have any depth beyond that, so that's really bad for what we have. So I think we're kind of back on this one. We've got the defensive mid to play there. This looks more like a 4-1-4-1. Oh, that's what they're showing here is the 4-1-4-1. Okay, well, let's go with the control possession. Yeah, 4-2-3-1 wide is my preferred, though. You think the 5-2-2-1 wingback is good for us? No, we'll stick with this one. Now we'll switch back to our first tactic. We'll let them start training that. You guys got all switched up though. Let's fix that at least. There we go. We'll deal with the injured players later. There you go. So the early look, marking is fluid. Everything else is going to take some training. And that's good. I've seen in the past, the moment you start training a new tactic, you actually see the original tactic kind of drop off a little bit. It didn't have an immediate drop off, so we'll see how well that holds up as we move forward. So far, though, definitely not the strongest start to the season. But after an ugly first couple of games, team's doing okay. Not looking so good on the financials. The FA Cup could be a little boost to that, but the higher the division you get, the less that has an impact. You know, it's the non-league teams where the FA Cup has a massive impact on the team's income. So we were at a C+, but that loss dropped us back down to a C. We're looking at, matches. A little bit disappointing. Transfers, though. Board's pretty happy with the moves I've made, especially the financial side of them. The fans are still fairly neutral. Tactics are good. Squad is good. So overall, we're hanging in there. It's just some results a little bit lacking. Locker room atmosphere coming down a little bit. After that last performance, it was up right before it. So that just happened from yesterday. I don't think we're going to get into another game, especially with this international break, but one thing I would like to do... Oh, see, here's another new feature. Okay, so we have limits. So Swansea coaching staff, I could have 2 more coaches till we hit our limit. No head physio, but I do have 5 physios. They cut my sports scientist limit down to 1. Actually, they hurt us in a few areas. Look at that recruitment team. I went from 6 possible scouts down to 4. I have 2 right now, plus a chief scout. So my scouting team is only 3 members. I was still going to potentially add in another one here fairly soon. But I was really wanting to see the budget-wise, and we are losing money monthly. Of course, the team isn't getting much in ticket sales because almost all of the seats were sold as season tickets, which is good and bad. It means you're going to fill out the stadium week in, week out. The bad news on that one is season tickets as a whole are cheaper than filling a single seat every match. You're going to get more money by individual seat sales than you are for selling one seat for the whole season. It's discounted rate. Data analyst is over by 1. Loan manager, they took that allocation away. I'm okay with that one. But I could still bring in another scout. We're okay on the sports scientist. We're over on physios, and I don't know why I have 5, but shouldn't that be helping with all the injuries we're having? And so it looks like we could still have a couple scouts, and U18 coaching staff also went down by a couple notches. But you can see I've got 14, 15, 17 players out on international duty, down to 13 by the middle of next week. So, yeah, we've already done that. We're good. No change. It was one of the players I was looking at, right? Yes, it was. We almost brought him in on loan, but Newcastle wanted a bunch of money for him. They wanted us to pay them every month and pay most of his salary, and yeah, it was too much, out of reach. That was the first player I wanted to bring in for our center mid pairing. Okay, this is one of the things I'm curious about. Loan reports are much improved from what they had been. Loan happiness is very much a thing here. So a lot of the guys are happy. We only have one that's very much not happy right now. Stephen Benda at Swindon. 7 appearances so far. It's his performance that he should be unhappy about, but none of them looking great. Okay, how are we looking now? 2 to 3 weeks or less, we'll get everybody back. Okay, injury update. This list should drop down a bit. Longstaff, form deserves recognition. Let's do it. Okay. But the international reports is one thing that I'm very curious about. Obviously, this is the first international break of the season. That's under 19s. Let's go ahead and skip on to another one. They're accepting offers right now. So it looks like he's going to be moving on. If they didn't want so much in terms of salary, we would have had him on loan and he'd still be in their player pool. Apparently they decided they wanted to get rid of him, and that would make sense on why they wanted us to pay pretty much everything. Alright, so we have Gudjansson here for the Iceland. Was he under 18s? Now, I'm curious, there it is, international match reports. It hasn't changed. This is still the same. So what do we have? Gudjansson. Oh, is there under 21s? So 18-year-old playing for the under 21s, that's good. That was his first appearance, and he got a goal with that 8.7 rating. Nice. Great debut for him. Also getting on the score sheet is Selena. And that is one of only two. He and Connor Roberts actually playing at the full national level. For him, it's Kosovo. They win their friendly 2-1 over Gibraltar. Not exactly a top matchup here by any means, but in his 16th appearance, that is his third goal. And after only having 2 under 21 appearances, that is pretty solid for him. Played all 90 minutes, scored a goal, had a decent match rating considering he scored, but passing, I always looked at 83%, strong there. 2 out of 4 shots on target. Played left mid though. That's a bit out of position for him. Tom Carroll, squad player. I'm okay with changing that. Selena, squad player. I'm not going to change that one right now. And McKay, yes, definitely a fringe player. Okay, I already got their reports. It's a decent player here, midfielder. But he'd be very expensive to bring in. Now, this is one player I've been looking at, and it looks like deeper scouting is kind of revealing that he's not so great. But there's still a lot to come out of this, so we'll keep scouting. Earlier reports had him at 3.5 stars. Very much up there. So we're going to keep an eye on Marvin Knoll here as potential center back. But his first report was definitely quite a bit better than this. It was almost 80. So we'll see if the continued look helps us. He is in the libero role though, so we'll see how and where he might fit in. But let's keep scouting. Scouting meeting. It's been a little while since we've had one. I think we're okay on that one. Here we go. Linton. Oh yeah, I signed this guy a little while ago. Oh, he was just placed on the loan list. Problem here is he's a winger, but I think he can play, yes, in a position that isn't too strong for us. Let's see, how does he look in that position? Not as good as he looks elsewhere. He is not terribly competent. The advanced playmaker would be what we'd want him to do, but you can see it knocks down his rating quite a bit. Knocks him actually all the way down to 5th on the list. But our second tactic, I just don't expect to use it all the time. And so I wouldn't want to bring in additional personnel just for the occasional move that we do, with that one. Okay, just 2 stars, 3.5. Most of those were wingers. Grimes, I keep praising him, and that's actually down for him from where he's been. Nathan Dyer, though, that's poor. Thank you. Tom Carroll, I can excuse that you have low form right now. You're not sure what's going on. You're just learning things and just coming back from injury. So that's all good. Okay, well, it's Saturday. We should get a number of international reports coming back from this day, so we'll see how the day went on that. And then I think we'll be wrapping this episode up. Wow, really only a few guys, actually. So we're looking date-wise. Just these 3 new ones. None of them putting in great performances at all. Vieira. This is a new signing, right? This is the guy we just brought in? I think it is. Guinea-Bissau. 3-2 winners against the Seychelles, but played 72 minutes. It's not a terrible rating. I mean, 6.9 is not awful, but it's not a great performance. A 6.9 rating with an assist. That means he actually kind of did poorly outside of that. Passing was only 68%. Tackles were good, though. So, yeah, we'll see. So he does move on. Playing that Eredivisie. Under 18s lose to Aston Villa 1-0. Our top guy was not in this game, though, was he? No, he's not. Probably away on international duty, I would imagine. Oh, that was his first international cap. Well, let's go ahead and congratulate him. Let's go passionately. Well, bleh. Do I want to... that's not showing patience. So we're going to give him the other message. Wah, wah. Young guys who think they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. It happens. Alright, well, this save game might take a minute, and that's about where I wanted to be anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and call it for this episode. That's going to do it for this one. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in, and quick look at the Premier League, 4 games in. It's very early, but the only undefeated team is Man City at this point, so Liverpool, not even in the top 8 right now. They're having a few struggles of their own at the moment. But Chelsea, Man U, Leicester all on 10 points. It looks like Man U and Leicester drew with each other, which was their first non-victory, as I did see on the social feed that they were going to play each other a handful of days ago. But I'll see you next time. Bye for now.